85.
This morning, the Israeli army announced that 21 of its soldiers had been killed in combat in Gaza. The Israeli forces have ramped up ground and aerial attacks around Khan Yunis. Dozens of people were reportedly killed as hospitals, ambulances and schools, where thousands of civilians are sheltering, were targeted. To tell us more, we can now cross to Jordan and talk with Juliette Touma, who is the Director of Communications at the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA. She's just been inside Gaza and can talk to us now about what she saw there. Welcome back to the program. I wonder if you can just paint us a picture of what you saw when you were recently in Gaza.
Yes, thanks for having me. Unlike the last time I've been, this time the displacement was so visually compelling. Wherever we drove, wherever we went, there were these structures that people who have been forced to flee their homes have set up. It's a very basic structure. It's not a tent or anything. It's like two wooden poles covered with plastic, and it was everywhere, in the middle of the road, on the sides of the road, by the water, near the sea, and by the borders with Egypt.
So in terms of the situation and the conditions that people are living in there, paint us a picture and the stories that you heard while you were there.
Look, absolutely desperate conditions. I was in the south, and I also went to the middle areas, and this was just before the recent escalation in Khan Yunis. And people are very, very exhausted. One mother told me that all she had for herself and the 26 other family members who were living in one of these structures was a piece of vegetable for the coming few days. She held her two children. One of them was very, very ill. People said that they didn't have medicines for chronic diseases. People missed their life that they had before the war. Exhaustion, fatigue, and mostly fear, especially in the south, that there would be a further expansion of the military operation, including in the extreme southern city of Rafah near the border with Egypt. And then really people were asking, where are we going to go? We don't know what we will do.
What about when we talk about humanitarian aid? There's been also some report that the U.S. had asked the Israeli to pause in the fighting. I wonder, on humanitarian side of things or medicine or anything, what is still more needed at the moment?
Everything is needed. Everything is needed. People are have lost everything. They left in such a rush. Many of them have been forced to flee 4, 5 times. All they're looking for is safety, is protection, is some respite. It is absolutely critical that there is a humanitarian ceasefire. And until then, there needs to be much more humanitarian assistance coming in, including medicines and other supplies like hygiene supplies, because that is going to help in averting the further spread of diseases. And there needs to be commercial supplies coming to the market, because at the moment we're speaking about almost the entire population in Gaza, which is about 2.2 million, is relying solely on humanitarian handouts. And that's not sustainable, not now and not in the longer term.
The Palestinian Red Crescent Society said that its offices in Khan Yunis had been hit by fire, people had been injured, people who had shelter there. I wonder, for the people who do work, who are still in Gaza, what kind of conditions are your staff working in? How are they doing?
We've also received reports that we're confirming as we speak of also a damage that was done to one of the largest UNRWA shelters in Khan Yunis, where we have 30,000 people, with reports of casualties as a result of the expansion of the military operation. We continue to have staff at UNRWA working across the Gaza Strip. Those who are working are doing everything they can. They are, however, impacted themselves. They've been displaced and they are shocked, they're traumatized, yet Many of them are out there giving the very little assistance we're able to bring. And so it is time to support organizations like UNRWA so that we're able to avert this terrible situation from getting worse.
Juliette Touma, who is the Director of Communications at the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA there.
About half an hour